Hyundai is on a roll, and this is a prime example of it. This is the all-new 2026 second generation Hyundai Palisade. Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I do car reviews and a little bit of DIY stuff. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for content like this and many more. For all your current subscribers, thank you for watching, for liking and sharing my videos. And most importantly, I want to give a big thank you to Hyundai for allowing me to have this vehicle in my home test area for me to review for you guys. I'm going to talk about it, review it, go over all the specs and features. This particular trim is the XRT, so this is the off-road version of the Palisade. Stay tuned, that is coming up next. Okay, let's talk about the 2026 Hyundai Palisade. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this is an all-new version of the Palisade. It is 2.5 inches longer, and its wheelbase is 2.7 inches longer, which means is the wheelbase is the space between the front wheel and the back wheel, which increases cargo and people carrying capability. This particular version, being the XRT trim, let me get my notes here so I can give you guys the correct information. So this one being the XRT trim, the ground clearance increases by about an inch. So this one's 8.4 inches off the ground. It is sitting on Continental cross contact tires, wrapped in 255/60 on 18-inch wheels. So the wheels on this one is a little smaller than the standard fancy version of the Palisade. And MPG is rated at 19 combined, 16 city and 22 highway. Honestly, I saw about 22, which is not great because this is a giant family hauler. Now, new for 2026, we got that out of the way. New for 2026, of course, is a completely different design language. As you guys can see, the headlights are different, the whole face is different. XRT models are a little bit more blacked out, and you can tell them apart because, as you can see, it has four recovery hooks. So you got two orange hooks in the front, right there, and the turn signal is actually right there on the side. The headlights are a little smaller and slimmer. It's flickering on camera, but that's the way LEDs look like on camera, unfortunately. But you got this little nice light pipe that goes from end to end. My tester is about $51,000 as tested. It does have a little bit of off-road focus, of course, mindset, off-road modes, which we'll go over in the interior section. But up front, you have this very bold and in-charge face, and front-facing cameras there. Very complete different look for the Palisade. Dare I say a little bit of Range Rover-ish, especially from this angle right here, and with that side, the turn signals. Definitely Range Rover vibe, and it's a good looking SUV. Hyundai is on a roll because they had their best sales ever in May of this year, which is excellent. The Palisade has been selling well for them. People can't buy this fast enough. New for 2026, the mirrors are slightly different. They're a little bit redesigned. This one has 360 camera, so there's a camera in each mirror and in the front of the vehicle. And there's a bee in my shot. It wants to be part of the video. This one is finished in creamy white. As you guys can see, it is very bright, and it kind of looks very well with the black accent bits. It does have keyless entry, so you can press here to lock, and then you can just put your hand on the door handle, and like so, and it locks. The calligraphy versions are going to be a little different. So if you want to see the video of that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I will be getting the calligraphy trim right after this one. And continuing in the back, there you see a little bit, definitely way more of the Range Rover inspired design, especially with the taillights. As you guys can see, vertical. Turn signal is LED. Pretty much everything is LED on this vehicle. And the back is very bold as well. You got the XRT Pro badge on the side, more of those recovery hooks. It does have an integrated tow hitch right here, capable for towing up to 5,000 pounds. Okay, before we go in the interior, let's take a look at the back cargo area, excuse me, of the the 2026 Hyundai Palisade. You can open it in two ways with the new redesigned Hyundai key. You can press and hold this button right here, and it opens, of course, a power lift gate. And the Palisade was never a slouch when it comes to cargo capability. I will insert the cargo figures behind the third row seat. You do have ample space. Of course, to maximize it, of course, you could just pull this tab here and fold the seats down like so, and this one like so, and you could definitely have a lot of cargo capability. And if you fold even the second row seats, which you could fold them here, these are manual. Total cargo capability with every seat fold is about 86 cubic feet of space, which is absolutely phenomenal. And unlike most modern cars, this car actually has a spare tire. So you got your tools, you got your jack, you're here. So a spare tire lives underneath the car. It is a donut. All right, let's take a look at the interior, the tech, the features, and then we go for a quick drive. Stay tuned for that. Okay, let's step inside the 2026 Hyundai Palisade. And getting in is a simple affair. Just put your hand on the door handle, it unlocks. This one doesn't have the power folding mirrors because it is the XRT trim. So this is a little bit more for those folks who want to take their vehicle out in the beaten path. So materials are a little hard and soft combination. I do like, let me get my camera to focus there. I do like the nice round door handle there. Here are all your controls. Front two windows are auto up and down. Power windows, door locks, of course. Door handle is actually here and it has nice little ambient lighting built in. Deep pockets for bottles and water there. This one being the XRT trim, it does have synthetic leather. Hyundai calls it HTRAC, so leatherette. But they are heated and cooled in this particular version, only the front two, and they are power adjusted to a lumbar support. And here on this side, you got a little control panel for your dimmer switch for the dashboard, the opening the trunk, turn on and off the automatic start stop, towing mode, traction control on and off, electronic parking brake. And let's step inside. And stepping height it's okay, it's not too bad. And this is what the new version looks like. So a complete departure from the previous generation. Let me turn it on because it is getting a little hot in here. So you do have now new for 2026, Hyundai's latest infotainment and instrument cluster. So dual 12.3-inch displays. So this one does infotainment duties. And let me turn on the climate control because it is a little warm in here as we speak. Let me just lower the fan speed there so you guys can hear me. But technology-wise, Hyundai is on a roll. This system now is over-the-air upgradable. So you can, of course, your infotainment system and your vehicle settings. Let me just back up here because I got some, every time I come here, unfortunately, I always get unwanted visitors and trying to ruin my shot. Anyway, so up front you have a full digital instrument cluster. If you guys seen my other Hyundai review videos, you can fully customize the way that looks. Right now is set in its simplest setting, but if you go to the setup button, which Hyundai thankfully has a nice healthy mix of physical controls for both the climate control right here, and of course the screen itself. And let me just show you guys real quick. If you click on here and cluster theme selection, and you can change, you could do classic, and then it looks like traditional gauges, as you guys can see. Traditional gauges, and then you can make it look the different style. So it starts changing the way it looks. So there is like sport mode, or you could just link it to the driving mode that you're in. Right now is a normal mode, so if you go to eco, it gets all like greenish. Sport mode gets all red and angry, and then my drive is customizable, so you can adjust the steering, the braking, the throttle, and things of that nature. This vehicle also has a terrain mode, so if you press this button here, then you have snow, you have mud, and you have sand, because this is the XRT version, so it's going to be a little different compared to the standard Palisade, because this one is geared towards off-road minded and off-road focus. And just like most, let me just go back here, just like every modern Hyundai, you guys may be, if you guys keen eye may be paying attention, they're slowly removing the Hyundai H from the steering wheel. So this is basically the new design language for most Hyundai steering wheels, and you have this little 4 dots, which means Hyundai in Morse code. So right now they're all white, and if you put it on reverse, it gets red. You guys can see the color changes to red, letting you know what's going on. So it's kind of like a little stylus light, and you put it back in park, it changes. It also changes depending on the mode you're in. On the left side of the steering wheel, moving on to the steering wheel, you have controls for the automated cruise control. So this has Hyundai's driving assist 2, so it will take over steering, throttle, keep you in your lane, all that good stuff. This vehicle does have paddle shifters, as you guys can see. Left on the right hand side, left for downshift, right for down. And then this one, because it is a V6, it does actually do something and shift. Headlights are fully automatic. Automatic high beam, and one thing which is one of the best in the industry, the lane watch camera that all Hyundai vehicles have, which is super convenient, super easy and useful, especially if you're merging and changing lanes into a highway. It will show you, it will activate the camera on each mirror. So left side does the left side, and then right side does the right camera, which I think is genius that it does that. The screen is a little customizable, so right now with this button here you can change what that center portion does. There's the lane departure warning system and cruise control screen. This is the off-road focus screen, so you have pitch and roll, and it tells you the oil temperature, it tells you the transmission temperature. So a lot of off-road focus information. And these little things that you see that look like little beady eyes on camera, but the human eye can't see it, is a driver attention monitor system. So it pays attention to your eyes when you're driving, and it knows if you're paying attention to the road when you're using your cruise control. And talking about off-road, let's just get that out of the way. So there is a dedicated off-road screen. If you press this here, you see there's a little off-road screen there and a little nicely animation. It shows you articulation, what the all-wheel drive system is doing. See, right now it says terrain mode is in sand, so we can definitely see it's changed to snow and pretty cool stuff, mud. So if we do back to normal, and it just turns off everything off, oil pressure light, battery voltage indicator, engine temperature. So a lot of useful information when you're off-road. Also has a camera underneath the car, so you can see the wheels. So when you're tackling, you know, different obstacles off-road, it shows you what the vehicle is doing, what's underneath the camera. And let me see if it actually shows you underneath the car, and it does. So look at that. It actually shows you what's going on underneath the vehicle. So it's stitching all the what's underneath the car, which is useful. And then of course when you go on reverse, it just changes to the traditional 360 camera. So you got, of course, you got this view, and there you can see the actual vehicle. There's a look at the Palisade, and yeah, different, very useful technology, very useful and very easy to use. So there's a 360 stitch version. If you put it back to drive, then it switches back to the front camera underneath you. Super useful. Only available on the XRT trim, not on the standard one. And pretty cool screen. This vehicle does have wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Hyundai's new latest information infotainment screen is super easy to use. You got weather, vehicle memo, Here you can control your the phone projection. And let me back up a little bit more, because I do have some people here trying to mess up my shot. And there is a dedicated trailer mode, so you can put here and customize your trailer hitch, checklist, pretty much everything. So it's super cool and useful if you want to tow items. There is your traditional Hyundai infotainment, Hyundai Pay, which basically you can use for tolls and parking if you set that up. Valet mode, very useful infotainment. Moving on down to the center, you do have a little bit of capacitive touch controls for the heating and cooling. So you have heated and cooled seats in this particular trim. You do have 3-zone climate control, because you can also control the rear, and there you can turn it on and you click high auto, and then it syncs the rear to the front. And heated, like I said, heated and cool, so very easy to use. This button does auto brake hold, so when you press the button on this while you're driving, it just keeps the brake, it holds the brake for you. So if you're in a hill or anything like that, the vehicle won't roll back. This is downhill assist, so basically think of it as like a cruise control. When you're going downhill, it will do the braking and accelerating and all that for you. You don't have to do anything. This turns on and off the parking sensors. And that is pretty much it in terms of the front. This one does have a standard size sunroof, so it doesn't have the panoramic glass because it is the XRT. And in the middle, you do have 100-watt. Actually, the entire cabin is 100-watt USB-C ports, so super useful and powerful. Wireless charger right here, nice little rubberized, so you can put your devices, and there is a little light that tells you if it's charging or not. You also do, let me move the phone out of the way, and you do have a little underfloor cubby right here. You got like a 2-tier system, so you can put stuff here. You do have more. You have a traditional power outlet right there, nice, super useful. And you also have a little cubby right above, if I can get it in there, right above the glove box. So super useful to put your devices and items. And then the center console opens like so. There is a decent sized center console. You do have a little light there for nighttime duty. And I don't know if this is a multi-tier. Let's see. I don't think so. Nope. No. Not like the calligraphy. The calligraphy actually goes deeper, which make sure you guys subscribe for that video. It says XRT. Hard to pick up on camera, but there it is. XRT right there, and it does have ambient lighting. And it looks very nice. You can change the colors and everything like that. And the shifter now is moved to the center console. So before it was over here and it was button based. So now you just click forward for drive, back for reverse, 1 up for neutral, and then parking is right there. Engine start stop is right here. So it moved completely from the center console. And the mirror in this particular version is not auto dimming. It's nothing, no camera system on this one. It's just a regular mirror. And here are the controls for your LED lighting, vehicle lighting, sunroof, and that's pretty much it. This is a very straightforward vehicle, nothing crazy. Let's step in the back seats of the 2026 Hyundai Palisade and then we go to the third seat, and then we go for a quick drive. Oh, and also before I go back there, this vehicle does have a 14-speaker Bose sound system, and it sounds very good. This one doesn't have a head-up display because it is not the calligraphy. Calligraphy will have a head-up display. And that's pretty much it up front. Oh, and the seats do say XRT right here. And the headrests, and they're comfortable, very smooth. Suspension's a little bouncy, which we'll go over a little bit in the drive section of my video. All right, let's take a look at the back seat. Stay tuned for that. Okay, let's step in the back seat of the 2026 Hyundai Palisade. The doors definitely feels larger because it is. The vehicle did grow in size, of course. Nicely integrated sunshade, which is very good. Peasant blockers, shout out to the straight pipes. New for 2026, which I think is a very useful technology. You do have a blind spot warning system, so this lights up. If you're trying to open a door and a car is coming, it will activate this and it will let you know that a vehicle is coming. Super useful for the kiddos. Materials are similar to the front, so a little harder material. Again, keep in mind, this is the XRT trim, not the calligraphy, but you do have ambient lighting. The windows are not auto up and down, but they do go all the way down, so the window looks a little larger as well compared to the previous version. Also, this window grew in size as well because of the longer wheelbase. You do have a little decent sized cubby for space, and the seats are similar to, of course, to the front. And you can get into the third row two ways. You can push this button right here, or you can do this button here, which does the same thing, and it does that little motion like that. And there's a look at the third row seats, which we'll go over in a second, the third row seat. But let's get into the second row. And for context, I am 5'8". The seat is adjusted to how I drive. I have plenty of leg room, super comfortable. And let me spin it around so you guys can see the headroom. I have plenty of headroom. These seats are also, you can recline them and you can make it like so. And it does have a nice ratchet style armrest right here. So spinning the camera back around, next to each seat, you guys can see there is more of those USB-C ports on each side right here. And you do have a storage pocket behind each seat. This one has a traditional household style outlet, excuse me, right here. And you do have a little cubby drawer, which is nice and neat to put stuff in it. The center floor pass-through is flat, so you can completely get to the back seat easy. But of course, I showed you guys how to get back there. Climate vents are all ceiling mounted, so right now I am very comfortable, so I can adjust the ceiling right here. The controls for the climate control moved from the center to the roof, so you guys can see you do have 3-zone climate control. If this was a calligraphy trim or limited, it will have the heated and cool seat buttons right here, but you can still nonetheless control the temperature, the fan speed, airflow direction. Oh, and even a voice command button. Interesting. I gotta play with that later to see what that does. Actually, let's see what that does. Oh wow, you can talk to it from back here. Very nice. Cancel. So very cool, actually. I don't know how useful that's gonna be besides driving parents nuts. So you could basically tell it to voice command buttons right here. If let's say you have people and you don't know where you're going, you could just yell at it and set the climate and things like that nature. So, and while we're back here, let me adjust the seat to how I will sit comfortably here so we can get into the third row from in here. And let me see, set the seat here, and yep, perfect space. So let me climb back here to the third row. Move the seat a little up, okay, and sit behind myself. And I have room. I have room here. It's not a complete penalty box. There is another USB port here. There is 2 cup holders. There's a speaker right here. This seat is, let me turn the camera around, show you guys what the space looks like. And I have plenty of headroom here. I can sit perfectly fine. These seats are reclinable as well. You can put a little tab here. And 2 adult size can sit here. These seats are not a complete penalty box. The center seat belt is here, so it's center mounted. So if technically 3 people can sit here, I don't know how that's gonna work. It might be a tight fit. But that's pretty much it in terms of the second and third row of the 2026 Hyundai Palisade. Let's take it for a quick spin and my final thoughts. Stay tuned for that. All right, let's drive the 2026 Hyundai Palisade XRT Pro. All right, I have the car in normal mode. Let me adjust the climate control there. And I forgot to mention, I actually learned this now, the wireless charger, not only is it wireless, it's also a fast wireless charger. So if your phone has that capability, it should come in very useful. Let me turn off the rear here. And one thing about me when it comes to my car reviews is I hardly ever agree with other outlets and reviewers out there. I tend to do my own thing, of course, but I gotta say, because one of the reviews I saw about this is about the powertrain being a little sluggish, and I hate to agree, but yes, I've noticed the transmission, the shift points are a little lazy. Like you have to kind of really step on it for it to move. I hope that's something that Hyundai can remedy via a software update and tuning of the transmission, because it is a little lazy, I gotta say. It is a little lazy. The V6 sounds great. I love the way it sounds. It's similar to the old one. This one, like I mentioned earlier, it went from a 3.8 down to a 3.5, and power went down slightly, 287 horsepower and 267 torque. Most people are not going to really care or notice. Fans of the Palisade, they're going to gobble it up and eat it and no problem. It is, even though this one does have all-terrain tires, suspension is a little on the bouncy side, but that's expected because this is the off-road Focus version compared to the standard one. But nonetheless, it's not going to beat you up, if that makes sense. It's not going to beat you up. It will drive fine. It will be smooth. And let me do my usual highway loop here and get in here and show you guys more or less what I mean about merging. So right now I'm stepping on it, and it's like you hear the engine. It's almost like it's thinking about it, like, oh, you want me to go? So there's a useful feature of that lane watch camera. But yeah, but once you're going, it's fine. Hyundai's, let me set the cruise control here to about 65. Turn on the lane keep assist and let go of the wheel, let go of the accelerator pedal, and the car drives perfectly. No issues. It stays in the lane. As you guys can see, it's actually turning. Right now it's yelling at me to hold the steering wheel, but so you touch it. Sometimes it wanders, I've noticed, a little bit here and there, but overall it does a good job. Stop and go traffic. You will see the HDA, which stands for Hyundai Driving Assist icon, turn on depending on the highway that you're in. So depending on the highway you're in, that's when you'll see that icon light up. And if you change the screen, I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but the animation changed for 2026. I've noticed a little crisper. If the vehicle has the lights on, it turns on the lights here on the screen. Overall, this is a very, very good package, a good vehicle. I'm pretty sure people will love it. People, if you're interested in buying this, Hyundai is basically making a version for every taste. There is a hybrid version for the first time ever in Palisade, and that's promising up to 35 miles per gallon and total 619 miles of range, which we shall see. Make sure you guys subscribe for that video. When I get my hands on that one, I can go over. And that one also has more power than this one. That one is rated for 329 horsepower. So it has a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder hybrid motor. So, but this has been a great week. This vehicle is great, it's excellent. Obviously, I'm not used to something this big. My personal vehicle is not as large as this thing, but overall, it carries itself very well for something this big. It is definitely, like I mentioned, definitely bigger than the previous generation of the Palisade. But anyway, I digress. This has been, let me get in here so I can finalize the video. Oh, and it does have the very annoying start-stop technology, which I wish every car should go, that should go away. That feature should go away in every car. I think it's pointless in a gas car. I don't think it makes any difference whatsoever in terms of fuel economy. Anyway, this has been my first full review and first look of the 2026 Hyundai Palisade. This is the XRT Pro trim. Thank you guys for watching, for liking. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you all on the next one. Take care and stay safe.